So glad that you dropped by today to see some sample cards that I've created and hopefully inspire you. My name is Lynda Phippen, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Ontario, Canada. So let's get started. So from our catalog, this is the Fine Art Floral stamping set, and this is some samples from the catalog, and this is the actual stamp set. It has layerings and some sentiments, and it's a very, very pretty set. So the first card we're going to do is this card here, and it is quite simple, but it is very stunning. So the colors that I'm using are pumpkin pie. Doesn't that make you hungry? So here we go. The first thing that I did was I took a sheet of paper and to create the background. So when I was practicing this card, I used these, it's a re-inker, pumpkin pie re-inker that's made to, when your stamp gets a little dry, you can put the ink on the stamp pad. But I thought that I would like to try a little technique. The first time I did it, I put it directly on the paper, and as you can see, all I did was make some spots, and it wasn't really that creative. But I kept it for sentiments. So this is what I ended up doing, which worked much, much better. So I put a couple of dots, spots in there, and to give it a little shimmer, I added this all-purpose ink, frost white, to give it a little bit of sparkle. So I put some of that in there. And I found that just a tiny little bit of water makes it go a little further. And using these really pretty brushes, very practical brushes. So I stirred it up and just put it on the paper. So it adds some shimmer. It matches the ink, and it spreads very nicely. So just going to set that aside and let it dry, and we will continue to I'm just going to use some paper because this is messy and I get it all over my hands and really do make a mess. So pieces that we need, I've got this with the sentiment, I'm thinking of you. This piece here, we have dies that are called, let me see, what are they called? Stitched nest labels. So they're very pretty. They have a stitched all along the edge. So I'm using the pumpkin pie ink and taking the floral stamp now. If you were really artistic, which we all are, the darkness of the flower is on the inside. So you stamp off, get some of the ink off, and then put it on. And then the inside of the card is going to go directly. And it's very easy to line up. There, it gives all the shadows. I think it's very, very pretty. And then I used Mossy Meadow for the stem. And this just get it on there. Right there looks like a good spot to put it in. And our paper is dry. So what I did was I put dimensionals on the flower. To just kind of raise it up there a little bit. There we go. Just pull off the little paper pieces that make it double-sided. There we go. And then I just centered it on. Can you see the, I don't know if you can see the shimmer. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And then what I did was I put it on the front of the card. And for some reason, I don't have my inside of the card, but that's how it goes. It just goes on there. The sentiment, I'm thinking of you, is a little trick I've seen on YouTube is to give it a little something on the back. You just and I put some dimensionals on there. I'm thinking of you. And then for the inside of the card, I just took the same pumpkin and the same stamp and just put a few flowers on the inside. Okay, so that's our first card with a little bit of sparkle. And I did take some Wink of Stella and added some to the flower. Now I use our sample one here. That adds some more sparkle to it. And then I have seen people do this here, where you put some of the sparkle on your brush and then just tap it over your card and you get some more splatters, more shine. So I'm just going to let that dry. And then I just added 3 gems to that. So there, card number 1. Done. Oh, 2 things. I forgot to do the envelope. So let's see if I can. Put a flower on the cover or on the front. Then a couple of stamps on the back of the envelope. And then for me to finish off my card, I put on it made just for you by me, 100% Canadian. So that's how I finish off my card and my envelope. Okay, the next card I did. Okay, I'll just get this out of the way. And because I made a mess, I'm going to turn this over. Look at that. Nice and neat. And I need to clean off my stamps. You see how they stain when you use reds, different red colors or pinks? But that's okay, it doesn't affect the stamp at all. So the next card is the same stamp with some acetate, but this one has a fold in the middle. Just a different look. And this flower is stamped and die cut out so that it's not directly onto the acetate. So let's see how we do that one. Okay, the color that I'm using is So Saffron. Nice spring colors. So we have the card folded in half, and then the front panel is folded again in half. So it's pretty, it gives it a nice different look. So now I've already, let me see here. Let's see, which way will we go first? You know, when you do the cards the day before, you think you'd remember exactly what you did, but not always. So I have a yellow card, or a yellow panel, and I put the acetate on it with a piece of pattern paper behind it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this started here. So this here can be glued on the first layer. And centered. And the acetate, what I did was I first put my flower on, because sometimes you can see the glue behind the acetate. So I put the flower on first. And before I did that, I personally like to take a ink dabber and just kind of do the edges of my die cuts. I think it gives a little bit of depth. It's okay for the border to be there when you do it on white, but when you do it on another color, it shows. And I just like to just take a dabber and add a little bit of color. And I do the same thing on my stems. And actually, it also, to me, it makes it feel a little bigger. So that's what I do. So I'm going to stick that on where I want it. And the same thing with the leaves. So now, when you put glue on the acetate, you know exactly where it will go so that it won't show. Because it just, for some reason, I guess because it's clear, the ink, or the glue itself shows through. So, but we know now where to put the glue. And so there's our front panel. So when you're adding your panel to your card, you want to make sure that you don't go past half of it. So you want to make sure that the glue goes on one side. So let's see if I can. And because it's part of the card will be moving, I like to put this two-sided tape on it. It seems to be a little bit stronger. And so there we go, centered nicely, and it dries immediately. So the sentiment that I used on this card is happy birthday, and here it is. And I put some dimensions on that as well. No, I think I need the little ones. So this one was a happy birthday card. And the yellow is just so spring and so springy, and spring will be coming. So happy birthday. And then on the inside panel, I also just put it in and just tried to get it so that it's behind the front panel. And before I do that, let me put on a few flowers on the inside. Okay, and we put so again, just kind of close it a little bit so that you can there. And again, I thought that the Wink Stella would add some nice shine, so you can add that. And that is our second card. And you don't want to forget to do the envelope. So let me just do that quickly. So the envelope is done and the card. So that's card number 2. And because I've made yet more mess, I have another fresh start here. Now this card is again using the same set, and this is just to say hello. So let me show you how this is made, because this is quite fun. So what I've done for the outside of the card, I've already stamped it, and I put Versamark marker on it. And then what you do is, I've used this one here, this heat and stick powder. So I'm hoping that it's still sticky, because I did it two ways. I did it with these new Gilding Flakes, and then I've done a card with the stamping embossing. Either way, you need to have your heat gun out. So let's see if this is going to work for me. So these Gilding Flakes are very light, and they like to travel. So this is just playing with other cards. So let me see if this is going to work. So I just have a little bit in a container, because they like to fly around. So then I'm just patting them, or pressing the Gilding Flakes on to the card. So there they are, they're sticking, so that's good. And you just gently brush off the excess. You can varnish them, like push them right in as well, so you get all of the stickiness, and then just brush it off. And if you want more, you just stick it on. And it seems, so there it is. So this one is with the Gilding Flakes. This one here is the embossing. So the Gilding Flakes is quite shiny, and actually so is the embossing. So it's either way, it looks quite stunning. And when I was using the words, just to say, I used the two-sided paper that we have. It sticks on both sides, and for some reason I cut it out backwards. So what I did was I peeled off the top part, which would normally be would stick to your card, and I put on the Gilding Flakes. So look at how pretty that is. So again, not to say it's a mistake, it's a creative opportunity. So you do want to keep these in a container to use, and they do go a long way. So that's that is. So I don't know, which one do you like? I'm going to do the embossing this time, because I used the Gilding Flakes on this one. So although it does look quite stunning. So all right, let's see if I've got all the pieces for this one. Okay, so this is the base of the card. And that is one of the layers after I put on the one behind it. Okay, so let's put this card together. Okay, so we'll put our background that we've made. And this is just a 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And then we put so there we go, we've got 3 layers. And I hate to press it down before you get it on there because sometimes it doesn't always get even all the way around. So let me see if I can do this a little better. There we go. So this is the die for the words. And it says, just want to say, but I just wanted to use the just to say hello. So here it is. So just to say, and of course, if you wanted to say it, you could do that as well. And there it is, the two-sided paper that we have to put on there. So let's okay, so what you do, just take the backing off. You don't need to do this. You can just do glue, but I find that I get glue on my card. So I really do like this. So I'm not going to stick it down firmly. I just want to make sure that I can get all the words. So just to say, I'll just take out the extra pieces. Okay, so we've got all the words there. We haven't got them stuck down yet, but I think just to say, there we go. And there is a little dot. Oh, there it is. That goes on top of the J. There we go. So I put dimensionals on the back of this card, or this sentiment. Okay, there we go. I do have a little garbage can here, but it doesn't seem like all the garbage has got in there. Okay, so here we go. Just to say, Now my stamp didn't cooperate with me, so that's why I put it at the top, because I knew I was going to cover it up. It's awesome when we have all of these mistakes that we make, but we can take them as opportunities to change our mind. So there we go. Just to say, and this little backing is a punch that we have, and I've seen people cut them in half like I did the other one, and just glue it on the back again just to give it a little dimension, just a little interest. Now I didn't want to cover up too much of the gold, so let's just... The nice thing about working with the glue is that you can manipulate it because it doesn't dry instantly. So that's a positive. Okay, and then I put some gems on. Some gold ones to accent with the gold leafing. Always adds a little interest. Oh, I think I'll put this one over here. And then on the inside, I put 2 layers on the inside. And I used the smaller stamp that comes in this set with the ink that I can't seem to find just at the moment. It's here. Oh, over there. And then we just glue that onto the base. And glue that onto the card. Add made just for you by me, 100% Canadian. And then we stamp our envelope. And there we have card number 2, or 3. 3, can't count. Now, I know it's getting late, so I'm just going to show you the 4th card that I made. I'm not going to show you how I made it, but it's using the same stamp set with a sentiment on the inside, and it's for my mother, who is turning 93 in another 10 days. And on the inside, it says, today is great because it's all about you, the great person you are, and the great things that you do. So that's very fitting for my mom, who's turning 93, and this is from the Forever Greenery set, and it makes beautiful backgrounds for your sentiments. So that again is made with the same stamp set and the same other pieces. So those are our cards for today. So let me show you. We have my mother's birthday card, the yellow card with the flower, the pumpkin pie flower, and just to say. So thank you very much for joining me for these cards. I hope you've been inspired and you learned another trick or two. And if you have any comments, feel free to leave those for me, and subscribe and like as well. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. And thank you again for dropping by. Bye for now.